Hey everyone, welcome to this week's video. This week we're going to be concluding our series in Luke, which is crazy, last week, and then we'll be starting Acts next week. But this week we'll be in Luke, and we'll be looking at the resurrection and how it is central to our faith. So often we look at the death of Jesus, his crucifixion, which is awesome, but we really need to look at his resurrection, because without the resurrection our faith is useless. And so yeah. Sometimes that gets put to the side, but we want to bring that back to the center. And it's also the center of our chiasm, which is really cool. So we'll be talking about that as well.
Yes. We'll be back in 2 weeks. So next week will be Easter, and we'll take a break and go to the main service.
True.
So 2 weeks.
No preteen on Easter.
Right. So in small groups this week, we have questions about Jesus' death, why that is important, why that's the only way to be saved, and about his resurrection, why that's important, and how that shows us since Jesus was raised from the dead, we will be too, and that's how we get to enter eternal life. So I think that these are concepts that a lot of the kids are probably familiar with, but it's always good to take them deeper into that. And some of these kids might not be super familiar with these concepts, or they might be kind of desensitized to them, thinking that they understand, oh yeah, Jesus died on the cross for my sins, but not really knowing what that means, how it impacts their lives. And so our small group tip for this week is to encourage you guys to really try to probe and find out where the kids are at, what questions they're asking, what doubts they have about this message, and meet them in that place. So don't assume that they're all on the same page or at the same level, but ask them, what was impactful for you listening to this message today? Did any of you want to surrender your lives to Christ? Those sort of things. We want to know if those wheels are turning and God's doing something in their lives. So you're our go-to people to find that stuff out and to be having those one-on-one conversations with the kids and small group discussions. The last part of the small group lesson, I guess, is to challenge them to action, which is inviting a friend or family member they know to Easter service next week. So make sure you throw that in there at the end, the Live It Out challenge, I think we called it.
And if you find in your assessment, if you're asking the kids, where do you stand with Jesus, have you surrendered your life, and you're finding that the majority of your students aren't Christians, maybe the next step is, instead of having them invite someone to Easter service, maybe the next step is to challenge them, well, hey, this week, this is a really important question for you to find out and to think over. So maybe the challenge that week is for them to, read a certain passage, or, think about, well, who is this Jesus? Did the resurrection really happen? To research that. So when you do that tip and find out where they are, you can then challenge them to action that week appropriately. So cool place to start.
And finally, we just want to thank you guys for all that you do. You guys are the most important part of this ministry. You guys are truly the ones that are the hands and feet of Preteen, and we just really want to thank you for all that you guys are doing. Being a small group leader is more important than any of our positions all combined. You guys are just the most important part. So just a little bit of encouragement for you guys just to keep on going and just to remember who we're doing this for.
That's right. Yep. We love you guys, and we couldn't do this without you. You guys are making a huge difference in students' lives, so keep it up. We appreciate you very much. So until Sunday.
See you Sunday.
We'll see you.